Doug, much has been made about the boomer generation and their particular blind spots. It feels like the concrete on Gen Z has yet to set, but by now I think we can start to evaluate millennials in generalities. What do you see as potential blind spots for millennials?
So this is going to get me in trouble.
Yeah, this is a setup.
Yeah, this is a setup. So one of the things that let me give some background to this. In various internet controversies and stuff within the last 10 years, I was born in 53, so I'm a boomer, bona fide boomer, right in the middle of the pack, right? But I went through most of my life knowing that technically, but never that I can recall, never do I recall it being thrown in my face. Right. But within the last 10 years, or maybe the last 5, all of a sudden, okay, boomer. And I'm not talking about the good-natured jokes about generational differences. I'm talking about someone who thinks he seriously got you in a debate by
calling you a boomer,
by backing, and all of a sudden this started to erupt all the time. So one of the characteristics of the millennials is that they think like that.
They think that's an argument.
They think that's an argument, because if it is true that particular generations have certain personality characteristics, certain personality quirks, which I think is manifestly true, right? Boomers do have certain things in common. We were shaped in a certain time, in a certain place, and so that's very true. But the critics of boomers are acting like boomers are the only generation for whom that's true. And a Christian way of approaching this sort of thing would be to consider, Jesus says in Matthew 7, "Judge not lest you be judged. For the judgment with which you judge, you shall be judged." And he says, consider the beam in your own eye before you try eye surgery to get a speck out of somebody else's. And the people who are attacking someone else's generation with an apparent obliviousness to the fact that they come from a generation that has certain characteristics. And what would those characteristics be? Well, one of the more obvious ones would be growing up online. Okay, so I was probably in my 40s, maybe in my 50s, before the internet even became. So I was already set in my ways before the internet started doing anything. But if you were molded and shaped by online everything, then that has a generational impact. And one of the things is the need for affirmation, and this is going to be even more the case with the generations coming up. But the generations coming up, Gen X and Z, if their parents make the mistake of letting them grow up on their phones, where someone's despondent because someone didn't they posted something on Instagram and they got an insufficient number of likes. So one of the generational characteristics is a need for affirmation, constant affirmation, and among the boomers, the reaction is frequently "suck it up, buttercup," and that has. I'm fond of saying there's always a ditch on both sides of the road. The tough guy thing has its problems, and you can find yourself, as many boomer parents did, find themselves raising embittered children who were told to suck it up one too many times. So that's got its own set of problems. But the Word of God speaks to every generation. It's not like you're stuck in your sin because of the year you were born in. So I would want to say Gen Xers and Ys and Zoomers and Millennials and Boomers can all follow Christ, can all be obedient, and not use the year someone was born as an argument.